Hey, what's up everyone? Back again for another episode. We've been pretty busy, haven't filmed everything we've done, but trying to give you a couple more updates here and there. We've got the main section of the jigging table all welded up and assembled, and now we're just working on these two end pieces that will bolt on to extend the length a little bit, and then afterwards we can actually reposition them to be up on the top and give us a vertical wall to jig off of. The frame is supposed to be getting here tomorrow, so that's pretty exciting, but jigging table's not ready yet, so we're jamming getting this and the rest of the jigging in place so we can assemble the frame and weld it over Christmas break. That's the plan. Damon's just working on his 3D printer stuff.
Little side project.
And the car's in good running shape. We had it out this past weekend, just a little test and some promo piece. We had Megan from Eng Stories and Eng site come and do a little piece on Baja team and student teams. So we let her take the car for a little rip around down the street. So I'm gonna try out our new gas lens diffuser from Furic. We tried it out on some of the welds on the legs and stuff, and it works really well. It's just gives you so much more gas coverage. Just the welds and the colors and everything just turn out so much nicer. So we opened this up in our last one, but I didn't show you it in action yet. So we'll throw this on the torch and give you guys an idea of how it works. So this is just a normal number 9 lens or cup, and swap it out. This is the first stage of the diffuser, and then just a newer collet body. And the FUPA 12 cup weld porn edition. Just kind of slides on there. And throw fresh tungsten in there. So this is the really neat thing with these big gas lenses. You can run that much or more tungsten stick out and still get sufficient gas coverage, and so that just works really well for getting into really tight tube joints that we have a lot of on the car. Totally not necessary for just welding something like the jigging table, but makes the welds look nice and fun to play around with it anyways. So that's what we'll do. We'll get this thing tacked up. So we're just running a little Lincoln Invertech, and it's got some pulse settings and high freak start and stuff like that, but pretty basic overall, but it gets the job done for us, and no real complaints. Well, straight out of Argonne. So that always happens when you're right in the middle of a job. But fortunately, we've got another tank that we can pick up and get back to it.
We got a new tank of Argon, and we finally get to try out our new regulator, the flow meter that actually works.
Nice. Yeah, so the school is the one that provides us with all our Argon, which is really kind of them. And so we just tell them when we're getting low, and they order a new tank for us, and they had one waiting for us. And the other thing we were missing was a little adapter piece from the hose that we had to this new regulator that we've got. And so this will actually be nice, because our old regulator, the flow meter, was broken, so we were always just kind of guessing what the flow rate was set at. But now we'll be able to actually set it properly, and that'll probably help with some things.
And hopefully not lose Argon out of all the leaks in the old one.
So we've got first end plate welded up and ground flush, and the edge of the table is good to go as well. So basically these things are meant to be modular, and we can line them up on holes like this, and then we can build a jig fixture that goes from the base up here with some kind of part hanging off, or we can use these little side plates here to bolt them onto the end and extend the length of our table. So I think that's what we're going to do first off, is try out extending it, and hopefully everything lines up.
It's our lives in hindsight. And as I lay here in the street, I see what I...
Happy with your baby?
Oh yes, very happy.
Yeah.
It's a little, especially with shiny.
So Damien's the one who did all the modeling for this, and then organized getting the sponsor, Industrial Laser Cutting. Show it to you guys. Thank you. And basically, yeah, it's coming together really nice, and hopefully makes for a nice, accurate jig table for many years to come. Just got notification that the frame is in, so I'm gonna go pick it up, and we'll get that put together soon. This is pretty awesome. Excited to have the frame here. That's a huge milestone in any build. And we got this from Cartesian, or VR3, and they are a CNC tube bending and notching company. So basically we had to send them all our CAD and drawings with all the bends in each individual tube that we need, and then they take all those parts and, you know, make them, and their accuracy is unreal. So all these tubes should fit together perfectly, and that just helps us speed up the assembly process so much. And they've got really quick turnaround time as well. I think it was only about 10 days or so. And so huge shout out to them, and thank you. So camera died while we were unpacking all the tubes there, so we cleaned it off the table, and here they are. So they've got awesome job profiling these tubes, and they just slot in there and, you know, fits up perfectly. So it takes out a lot of the guesswork for us. Is we just build our jig and should hold the tubes right in place, and we know that they should fit up properly. And if they don't, then there's probably an issue with we put the wrong tube in the wrong spot or something. So Damon's going through today the list of all the tubes that we have, and you know, obviously they're all here because these guys are professionals. But it's a good thing to always check. And so it's super exciting to get this together. And look at some of these notches are pretty crazy, and it's just makes our job of assembling it immensely easier. And so we've got one more wing, I guess they're called, lined up or jigged up, ready to tack together. We're going to put a few more zip ties on, holding it together, and then hopefully get that welded up today, and then, you know, then we can start putting the jig together and putting the frame on. So in addition to doing a lot of the work for Baja Car, I also do some welding for some of the other student teams. So we've got our neighbors over here at Formula Electric. They needed this little tube welded in, so that's what we're going to do today. Just tack that up. We like to help out the other teams here, and we all get along. Their car is pretty sweet. This is their first car they've built, and they've got some it's pretty powerful little electric motors down here to these chain drives, and they worked closely with our petrol formula team at UBC, because they've been around for a long time and know how to design and build the whole car. And so these guys are starting with help from them and implementing their electric drivetrain. So it's pretty cool and fun to see everybody working together.
Invincible.
So we got the table put together, all the welds ground flush, sanded, and then a little bit of a coating of oil on there to keep it from rusting, and it's looking good, smooth and We leveled it as well. We've got adjustable feet on there. And so now we're going to start putting together the floor plane of the car and seeing how it goes. So when we sent VR3 all our tubes, we gave numbers for all the members, and then they show up with a little sticker on it with the part number, material, and we just have to put the puzzle together, part number to part number, basically, and line everything up. Got Jenny and Damien are working on all the jigging system over here. Gonna get some pretty clever little pieces and clamps to hopefully hold everything in place really nicely. So we've got some of the floor plane in just to check the fitment and the fit up of everything, and so far it's looking pretty good. We've left like some of these tubes here long on purpose so that it's easy to weld, and then we can trim them down. So this is where our lower control arm mounts. So you see it's inclined on an angle there relative to the bottom of the chassis, and that's for some of our suspension geometry. It helps us when we're landing jumps nose down like that, like you saw in our last video. So that'll be it for this video. We've got a busy final season ahead of us, so things will be slowing down for the next couple weeks, but we'll pick back up and get building during Christmas break. Stay tuned.